The game of Survivor is not a joke. I mean seriously, the conditions, the lack of food, they're everything. It's very, very real. The toll that this game takes on your body, especially if you have a deep run, is absolutely insane. As we have seen in Survivor, just through the lack of calories combined with having to compete in physically exhausting challenges, the adrenaline can only get you so far, but sometimes your body will give out and you may even have to leave the game for good. So whilst we have seen these medical evacuations through our screens, one thing we don't get to see is how these contestants cope after filming has occurred. It can take days, to weeks, to months to years for castaways to recover from playing Survivor, due to all the muscle mass they lose, the conditions they live within with bugs and parasites, not to mention mentally reliving these moments in your head over and over again of what you could have done differently. The game is seriously exhausting in all aspects you can think of. So today at Analytical Strategy, I just want to run through times that contestants were hospitalised or required medical procedures to assist them after the show had concluded. We can only see how much this game takes a toll on contestants on television, so let's take a look of how much it can really affect them in the real world. I also obtained a lot of this information from an article I read written by the great Hannah Shapiro, a former Survivor contestant, as I found this to be incredibly interesting given it is something we really don't think about too often as viewers. So I highly recommend reading it, and I will leave a link in the description below. So we are going to start with 3-time player Andrea who will be the only multi-time player I will be discussing in this video. But you would have to think that players that have played numerous times, and also relatively close together, it would have to have a significant impact on their bodies. Andrea for one stated that her metabolism is far worse after her outings on Survivor, due to this constant starvation she's put her body through numerous times. Now after the 3rd time Andrea played Survivor, she lost 11 pounds, which is a significant amount of weight for anyone in that short duration. But worstly, she was hospitalised for a week due to a kidney infection that likely started while she was on the island. Now to begin with, the doctors could not actually figure out what was wrong with her, as this infection also caused her other organs not to function properly, inclusive of her heart, which was in a weakened state. And all of this occurred once she returned home after playing Survivor in Fiji. Andrea also has scarring from bug bites during her stay in the game, as well as skin pigmentation changes due to being in the sun constantly whilst playing this crazy game of Survivor. Thankfully, Andrea's kidneys recovered from the severe infection and all her organs are fine now, but it would have been a terrifying experience, I'm sure, to have to be hospitalised for a whole week shortly after playing Survivor. So similarly with Andrea, weight loss is a serious factor with most contestants who make it deep in Survivor. Many contestants will put weight on prior to playing to bulk up, knowing they will lose it all in the coming days. And that's exactly what contestant Kalyn did before she played in Survivor Ghost Island. Kalyn put on about 10 pounds of weight prior to playing, and after playing she lost it all and then some, with approximately 12% of her body weight being depleted just from playing Survivor, with crazy fluctuations occurring as well, from beginning to during to post-Survivor. Now in terms of weight fluctuations, we must think that a lot of survivors are going to put on weight prior to playing the game, lose a heap of weight during the game, and then try and put it all back on after the game. It can be really tolling on your body to put it through all those irregular variations. However, what affected Kalyn the most within this game was parasites. Kalyn was put on medication to try and assist with these parasites, such as hookworm and tapeworm, that were within her system from playing Survivor. And it turned out the medication that she was advised to take was actually causing further damage to her bladder and urinary system. It took 19 months after playing this game to go through countless different practitioners, medicines and different types of testing for Kalyn to only just then get off her medication to assist in these irregularities and issues she was having with her urinary and gastrointestinal tracts. This is one of the more longer lasting conditions I've heard from a contestant playing the game, due to this combination of being on the island and then also the medication that she was provided to get this treated. So the next contestant I'll be discussing had a very different medical procedure in comparison to Andrea and Kalyn, and that was Jay Starrett from Millennials vs Gen X. So Jay went into this game as a pretty bulky lad, so his major concerns were related to food intake, energy, nutrition, and basically all the components around weight loss and starvation. I think this is something that has to play on basically all contestants' minds who think about all components of Survivor seriously. Watching from home, we might think of Survivor as just a strategic game, but the physical and mental toll that comes with the gameplay should not be taken for granted. One thing that may not get too much thought of though, it's something I personally wouldn't think of too highly either, and neither did Jay, and that's the high prevalence of injuries that also occur on the show. Living in this type of environment, injuries are just bound to happen, it really is unavoidable. Jay sprained his ankle and had it wrapped up for the back half of his game, and whilst he was in pain out there on the island, he really pushed through to show this strong exterior. Really deep into the game though, this ankle was cut up on a coral reef, and due to the swelling, combined with the adrenaline Survivor gives you, the pain and infection was not noticed at the time. But as soon as he was voted out of the game and this adrenaline subsided, the infection began to spread and the swelling began to get worse, turning into what he stated was an elephant's foot. He was subject to antibiotics and numbing whilst out there on the island to treat this infection, and for weeks after the game he was on medication for the swelling to continue to subside. Jay was extremely thankful this happened towards the end of his game rather than at the start, as there was that chance that he could have been taken out for medical precautions. And luckily for the audience as well, he was able to stay until almost the very end, as he really was such a great character and player. The last contestant I'll be discussing was also another Millennials vs Gen X player, very close to Jay, and that is the amazing Sunday Burquest. Sunday, like each other contestant, experienced a lot of weight loss, losing a massive 25 pounds, but her medical treatment came from something again you may not think of too much before going out there, a small bug bite. Yes, a bug bite. We have seen contestants play this game time and time again, getting bitten from head to toe by bugs, and other than itchiness and on occasions visual scarring, they are completely fine and wouldn't require any further treatment. But for Sunday, she unfortunately drew the short straw after she was bitten the day prior to heading back home. Now whilst boarding for her flight, the area where this bug bite occurred started to heat up, which was only the first signal that something may be wrong. By the time the plane landed, it started to swell not only in the area the bite took place, which was near her elbow, but also up her arm to her triceps and forearms. Before she knew it, the next morning she was placed into urgent care and put into the emergency room. But not only did this swelling continue, Sunday's temperature also went through the roof. She started slurring her words and losing her balance and her ability to walk. There were also dangers the infection of the bite could get into the bone, so they needed to conduct surgery to remove this infection. Sunday had to go through not only one, but 2 surgeries to get rid of this infection. It is serious to think that not only malnourishment can play a serious role on all contestants playing this game, but injury, parasites and even bug bites could result in you going to hospital and requiring urgent care. However, in saying this, whilst all these contestants went through such unique circumstances, from infections to illnesses after playing this game of Survivor, there was one thing that was consistent in all of them. They did not regret playing the game. They loved this game, and they would highly likely do it all over to get the chance to play again. So whilst it can be damaging to your body to play this game, those factors are ironically what make Survivor so interesting. To know that you are going to be so severely depleted physically and mentally, with huge additional risks in play, yet still millions of people want their chance to participate. You know this show is unlike no other, and is one of the greatest concepts that has ever been created. Yes, there can be some shorter term effects, but the likelihood of being subject to permanent damage is really low. And it is a once in a lifetime opportunity, so I can absolutely relate to the love these contestants still have for this game. Survivor is an adventure, and with all adventure comes some risks. You just need to personally weigh up the risk versus reward in any given situation. And even those that went through the hard yards still think the reward of playing this game outweighs everything that they went through. Now that is a statement in itself. But I do personally think it is an important message to tell potential players of Survivor that this game doesn't just last for the 39 days or however long you may be on the island. There are serious health precautions that each individual needs to strongly consider during and after the commencement of the show. So knowing what types of situations these contestants went through after filming, does this change your mind at all about playing the game? Please let me know down in the comments. If you enjoy these types of videos, smash that subscribe button and give the video a like to show your support. It would really mean a lot. But that's all from me today. This is Analytical Strategy signing out once again, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.